Testing, testing, 1, 2. Focus. Think I'm ready now? Hello and welcome back to my channel. Be sure to go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you are new here so that you don't miss a thing. I post every Tuesdays on a variety of topics centered around staying interested, informed, and inspired. Plus the occasional fun vlog. And today's topic, as the title of the video suggests, is not about New Year's resolutions, but rather about things you could start incorporating or maintaining if you are already doing those things into your lifestyle. That way your 2019 could be off to a great start. And no, losing weight is not one of them. Weight loss is an overrated New Year's resolution. And then by mid-March, these people are back to being couch potatoes and drinking Coke for breakfast. Without wasting any more time, let's jump right in. Tip number 1. Waking up early. 9 or 10 o'clock is not waking up early. I'm talking 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, anytime before the sun rises. You'd be surprised at how much you can get accomplished before the sun rises, and suddenly it starts to feel like there isn't enough time in the day. I've been waking up between 5 and 7 o'clock in the morning since I got back from vacation, and it's been the most productive I've been in a while, and for very good reason. Studies have shown that people who wake up early tend to be more focused, A, because your brain is the most alert in the morning, and B, it is really quiet outside. Now, waking up early is not such a foreign concept to me. I did attend an all-girls Catholic boarding school between the ages of 10 and 13. Their rising bell went off at 5 a.m. on days that we had morning mass, which was about 3 times a week. And on days that we didn't have mass, it went off at 5:30. Either way, it went off before 6 o'clock. And sleeping in was not an option. Try sleeping in and see what happened to you. Now, waking up early is never going to be pleasant, especially in the colder months. But once you get in the habit of doing it, it gets easier. Now, for me, waking up early is a lot easier than going to bed early. I have a hard time turning my brain off. Once I manage to drag myself out of bed after my alarm goes off and I wash my face, I'm good. I'm even better after I have my lemon and apple cider vinegar water, followed by my coffee. The drive to wake up early comes from weighing my options. I can hit that snooze button and go back to sleep and wake up much later in the day and do absolutely nothing productive. Or I can wake up when my alarm goes off and do some work while my brain is the most alert. Lately, option number 2 has been winning. Tip number 2, surround yourself with positive people. When I say positive, I don't mean a yes man, someone who is going to agree with everything you say or do, even when you're on the wrong. I mean supportive people, people who encourage you, people who will tell you the truth even when you don't want to hear it, but you'll be thankful to them later. For me, I've had to cut out a lot of toxic people from my life this year and the year before last. And that's not going to change moving forward into 2019. I've always valued my peace. Hello, I'm a Libra, and that's one of our distinguishing characteristics. And as I get older, I value my peace even more. And if someone wants to come and disrupt my peace with your toxic energy, he or she is canceled. Period. Please understand that when I say negative or toxic, it doesn't mean you cannot have a bad day or a bad couple of days, or that you cannot vent around me. I mean the kinds of people who bring the storm with them. You can literally feel the energy change for the worse as soon as they walk into the room. And these people are never wrong. Everybody else around them seems to have an issue except for them. They play the victim a lot as well. And nothing in these people's lives can ever go right. You can ask them how they're doing and they can never have a positive response. It's always the same kinds of issues, or it's a different issue every single day. It's almost like hitting the rewind button on bad music. It's almost like hitting the rewind button on bad music. Like, dude, you breathing and walking, that ain't good enough for you? Boy, bye. Cancelled. For me, the only way I know how to distance myself from negative or toxic people is by severing all ties with them. That means I cut off all forms of communication with them altogether. That means I stop talking to them, I stop calling them, I delete your numbers. Because for me, just saying hello is like keeping that door open for them to bring your bad juju back into my life. Now, is this the proper way to handle this situation? Maybe, maybe not, but that's what's working for me. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go and do the same thing. Just figure out what works for you. This brings me to my next point. Tip number 3, gratitude. You might not have all the things that you want right now, but just be thankful for the things that you do have at the moment. So see the glass as half full rather than half empty. Whatever you focus on tends to expand. So focus on the good so that can expand. Now, I've talked extensively about this topic in my video about the law of attraction, which I will link down below. I encourage you to check it out. Tip number 4, read often. Reading text messages or memes on Facebook or tabloids do not count. I mean actual literature, like a book. For me personally, I never used to be a reader as a child, but I did like writing. And I remember my mom telling me, how can you want to be a writer, but you don't read other people's work? In order to be a good writer, you have to read a lot. But for me, reading at the time was like punishment. I remember my mom dropping me off at the library because she had to pick my brother up from his Boy Scout meeting. And I must have been in there for maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, but it felt like 22 hours. I just sat there in that cold and drafty library thinking,
when is this lady coming to pick me up? I'm bored.
I even considered walking out of there and walking home, but that would have given my mom a heart attack if she came to pick me up and I wasn't where she left me. It wasn't until after college that I started reading as a hobby. And I started with something that was trending and something that seemed interesting, Twilight. And then from Twilight, I moved on to Harry Potter, and I kind of did that backwards because I watched the movies before I read the books. But since Harry Potter, I have just been devouring literature left and right. And for me, the thicker and the longer, the better. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about books. Now, I'm not at all suggesting that you neglect everything else, all for the sake of reading. Start small. Start with a page or two a day, and then build it up until you can read a whole book in less than a month. For me, this year, I set a goal that before the end of every day, I must read a verse from the Bible and also a page or two from the book that I'm reading. And yes, it takes me a little longer to finish a book than it does the average person who reads a lot. But at least I'm finishing the books. That never used to happen when I was younger. I remember my mom giving me books and I'd read the first 2 pages and I was done. I didn't want to read any much more of it. Aside from keeping you mentally alert, improving your vocabulary, and improving your focus and concentration, reading also reduces stress. I was watching the show on PBS the one time where they were showing the brain scans of people who have healthy habits. So people who read, exercise, things of that nature, versus those who drink a lot, sleep a lot, basically unhealthy habits. And they put up a brain scan of a 40-year-old who drank a lot and smoked a lot versus a 60-year-old who read a lot and exercised a lot. And surprisingly, the brain scan of the person who was 40 years old but drank a lot and had other unhealthy habits looked like that of a 60-year-old, whereas the brain scan of the 60-year-old who had healthy habits looked like that of what a healthy 40-year-old should look like. So there is science to back up why you should be reading a lot. Tip number 5, give a little. What do Oprah Winfrey, Ellen DeGeneres, J.K. Rowling, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs all have in common? Aside from having millions and billions of dollars, they are also philanthropists. Now, it's my belief that if you're blessed with a lot of money, it's not just for yourself. It's to help yourself and help others as well. Just give a little whenever you can. Not just money, but also your time. And actually, people value when you give them your time versus when you give them money. It is also important to remember to stay consistent. They say it takes 2 months for a new habit to form. Also, be kind to yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday. New Year's resolutions. Why can't I remember that? A, because it's... Oh, God. I have talked extensively about my... Wow, what video? Okay. Oh, God, what am I trying to say?